In the last class, what all we have gone through, we will quickly recapitulate and then we will move ahead. So if you would all remember, we basically discussed the parameters of motion, right? We talked about what is the difference between distance and displacement. We saw what is the difference between speed and velocity, and even we started up with acceleration. So today we will carry out our class with acceleration. So what was acceleration? We have already gone into its discussion. Can anyone tell what is acceleration? Acceleration is the change in velocity with respect to time, right? Very simple definition, change in velocity with respect to time. In order to define, I can also say it is the rate of change of velocity, right? Whenever I define anything as a rate of change, means that I'm always taking into consideration with respect to time. Okay, the unit of acceleration, very simple, it would be meter per second square. So now if I talk about the types of acceleration, you would have already seen where we require accelerators, where we need to increase the speed, right? For example, I take a motorcycle or a bike. If I want to increase the speed, what will I do? I will just accelerate it. In order to decrease the speed, what will I do? I will decelerate it. So to decrease speed, we will decelerate. So remember the meaning. Acceleration means I am altering the speed. I am changing the speed overall. Here also, if I am increasing, there is change in speed in a particular direction. When I am decreasing the speed, there is also change in acceleration. So let's begin with a simple example to understand the types of acceleration. Let us say there is an object and that object is moving at a velocity of 5 meter per second, and its velocity is increased to 10 meter per second, and the time taken for this increase is, let's say, 10 seconds. You have to find out the acceleration in this case. Very simple question. Quickly, all of you, you will tell me the answer. All right, very simple. The change in velocity, if you see, my velocity is increasing from 5 meter per second to 10 meter per second, and the time taken for this increase is 10 seconds. So very simple, according to the definition of acceleration, change in velocity will be 10 minus 5 by 10, and that will be 0.5 meter per second square. Okay, let us observe the reverse case, students. Let us say the same object is moving at 10 meter per second, and in 10 seconds its speed is decreased to 5 meter per second in the same direction. Now could you find the acceleration? Using the same formula, you will get 5 minus 10 by 10, and that is minus 0.5 meter per second square. If we observe both these situations, we can see in the first case, the speed is increased from 5 to 10. In the second case, speed is decreased from 10 to 5. So you can observe, if I am increasing the speed, I am getting positive acceleration. If I am decreasing the speed, there is negative acceleration, right? So that is the point to note. So let us form here the types of acceleration. Let us summarize the types of acceleration. So acceleration A is of three types. One, it can be positive. Two, it can be negative, or even it can be zero. So if we have the formal definition of acceleration as v minus u by t, I just use mathematical comparison to observe the types of acceleration. So in this case, if it is positive, that means a is greater than 0, right? Anything is positive, that means it will be greater than 0. So let me put the value of a from here. So v minus u by t will be greater than 0. So that will give us v minus u greater than 0, and that implies finally v is greater than u. So what was u, guys? Initial velocity. U was initial velocity, v was final velocity. So what we are getting in the case of positive acceleration, that final velocity is greater than initial velocity, right? In the same manner, let me do the mathematical operation for negative acceleration. So when acceleration is negative, a will be less than 0. That means v minus u by t will be less than 0, and that implies v minus u less than 0. So finally, we again get v less than u. So what we are observing in the case of negative acceleration, final velocity v is less than 0. That means object's speed is decreasing. In the case of positive acceleration, final speed is greater than initial speed. That means the speed is increasing up. Very simple. Again, students, anyone has any doubt, they will raise their hands. Let's explore this zero acceleration. Now, I'll just put a as 0, implying v minus u by t as 0. That implies v minus u is 0, and that implies v is equal to u. So students, we are getting final velocity is equal to initial velocity when the acceleration is 0. Now, what does this mean? There could be two conditions possible when this v is equal to u. One, when the object is at rest, right? When object will not be moving, its speed will be constant, because we have final speed is equal to initial speed. That means the speed of an object is constant. So when the speed will be constant, if the object is at rest, its initial speed is 0 meter per second, and it will be constant throughout. Another situation could be when the object is moving but at a constant speed, right? So whenever we have acceleration as 0, it not only implies that the object is at rest, it may be at rest, or it may be moving at a constant speed. So I hope this is clear to everyone. Any question, your students? So yes, Krish, applying brakes on car is an example of negative acceleration, right? Because when you apply brake, your intention is to decrease the speed and stop, because final speed you have to make it to 0, right? Now students, this is also worthy remembering that negative acceleration, we call it as deceleration. This is just a name given to the negative acceleration. We can also call it as retardation. So a big mistake we will try to avoid whenever the question says you to find out the retardation, although you have found acceleration as, let's say, minus 2 meter per second square. Since we already know this is negative acceleration, we will say that retardation is 2 meter per second square. Retardation itself means that it is negative acceleration, right? So these two phrases we will keep in mind. Everyone note them down. We'll move to the next. Okay, moving ahead now, since we are first just doing the basics of motion, including the knowledge of all the parameters or all the variables that we will be using ahead in motion. Okay, next parameter is momentum. So what is momentum? This is defined as the product of mass and velocity, right? So what is momentum? If we want to define it, it is the product of mass and velocity. So can anyone tell me, is this momentum a vector quantity or a scalar quantity?
Vector.
Vector quantity, absolutely, because we have seen in the last class that if we are multiplying any vector with a scalar, the resulting will be a vector. That means it is good to say that the direction of momentum will be same as the direction of velocity vector. Okay, so now you would find this definition everywhere, even in the books, even on the web, that momentum is the product of mass and velocity. But what is this momentum actually representing? It is representing the motion of an object. Now, in what sense it is representing the motion of an object? How fast or how slow an object is moving. For example, let us take an example. Let's say I tell you that object A has momentum 5 kilograms meter per second. Object B has momentum 10 kilogram meter per second. And I say that both the objects have same mass. Then it is very clear that B will be moving with greater speed because it has greater momentum. You can just put the values of M into V, and you can get the value of VB here as 10 by M. Similarly, you will get here MVA is equal to 5, that is given. So you will get VA as 5 by M. So clearly, this 10 by M is greater than 5 by M, right? So with respect to the given information that here masses were equal, we will clearly be able to identify which was able to move faster. That means whose motion was more, which was carrying out more motion, right? That is the indication of momentum. So as a unit of momentum, very simple. Mass, it is kg. Velocity, it is meter per second. So that will be kilogram meter per second. Yes, Sampada. Momentum is the product of mass and velocity, right? According to the formula, I have defined it. But what is actually this momentum representing? It is representing the motion of an object. Now, how it is representing the motion of an object? We can see with respect to this example. For example, A was having 5 kilogram meter per second as the momentum, right? I have written this as momentum because this is the SI unit of momentum. And if B has momentum 10, so it is clearly indicative that 10 is greater than 5 for same masses, then definitely B will be moving with greater speed. All right. Okay. Another parameter that we have is impulse. Remember everyone, impulse is the change in momentum. Now, in your earlier classes, you would have definitely gone through the equation F is equal to ma. Although we have to completely analyze this equation more, but I'm simply bringing the equation that we have learned earlier. So you all would have learned F is equal to ma, that force is equal to mass into acceleration. So let us analyze this equation to understand what is impulse. So what I'll do, I'll put the value of A here as V minus U by T, right? Sometimes never forget that it is v minus u by t, because sometimes students do the mistake u minus v by t. They do that's wrong. It's always final minus initial by t. So if I put here, we will get m v minus u by t. So that we can write it as mv minus mu by t, right? I have just broken this. So here we can understand that mv, this is mass into final velocity, right? So that will be final momentum. This is mass into initial velocity. So that will be initial momentum and divided by t. So final momentum minus initial momentum, that will be the change in momentum. So we get a new definition. We get a new expression for force in terms of momentum. We can say that force is change in momentum with respect to time, right? So either we can define force is change in momentum with respect to time, or we can say force is the rate of change of momentum, right? So if I just change this equation, if I multiply t to the left, we get change in momentum is equal to f into t, right? Now what we have seen, impulse is the change in momentum. That means I will write this impulse denoted by j. So it is change in momentum. So what is a good way to define impulse? Impulse is also equal to force into time. But how will we define it? It is very huge force acting for very short time. Let's take an example where we take impulse into consideration. Impulse is denoted by J, Krish. F तो force है. F is force. M is mass. A is acceleration. Okay. ये लिखा है मैंने, J representing impulse. Okay. Let's take an example to understand impulse. So in cricket match, whenever we catch a ball, our hands get injured. Yes, Nikto, we are going through that definition only for the huge force. What is that? So assume that in a cricket, whenever we catch a ball, I'm talking about the deuce ball, the real cricket ball. So if it is coming from a greater height, what happens? Our hands gets quite injured. That means we feel little bit pain. Why? Because the force is acting for a very short duration of time. So if you observe the expression here, f is change in momentum by t. So if I'm talking about this time, which is very, very short, force will be very, very huge. Why? Because force is inversely proportional to time, right? So this condition, when the time is short and the force created is huge, at this condition, the change in momentum is called impulse. Okay, so whenever you will be given any numericals or questions based on impulse, the time at which the force will be acting, that will be very, very short. Is it clear to everyone? Impulse is a very quick reaction, you can understand. This is just a little idea we are having, especially for the impulse, because we will be analyzing the change in momentum and momentum conservations and impulses in Newton's laws of motion. Here we are just going through the parameters that will be required throughout understanding of motion. So everyone can quickly note them down. Okay, we'll go through a simple question based on the motion parameters. So let's start the question here. So let us say an object is moving in a circular path. So object is moving in a circular path of radius 7 meters, and the object is able to complete a circular path. Object able to complete, you can say, one round in 10 seconds. You have to find here distance, displacement, speed, and velocity. That's question one. Part two, you have to say that in a circular motion, whatever we are seeing here, is the object accelerating? That's part two. First, we will do part one quickly. Formula to find impulse velocity will be change in momentum. So if you rearrange, change in momentum will be force into time. Okay, clear? Okay, let's do these two questions quickly. Okay, so yes, I can see the answers. Distance 44, displacement 0, speed 4.4, velocity is 0. Right. So if you calculate here the distance, that will be 2 pi r. Right. Pi you can take 22 by 7. So you will get 2 into 22 by 7 times 7. That's very simple. It will be 44. So distance will be 44 meters. Displacement will be 0 because object is completing one round. So if the object is starting, let's say, at this point, object is returning at the same point. So 0 displacement. Velocity will be 0 because it is displacement by time. Speed will be distance by time. So 4.4 meter per second. Okay, now the second part, is the object accelerating? Who can tell? Is the object accelerating?
Yes, sir.
Why it is accelerating? You can tell me.
Radial acceleration.
Okay, radial acceleration. In short, simply also if we observe, at every point, let us suppose you are moving in a circle. So at this point, your direction will be this. At this point, your direction will be changed. It will be in this direction. So at every point, you will change the direction to complete a circular path. So speed is same, right? Speed may be same with which the object is moving, but direction is changing. So that change in direction brings the change in velocity, right? Because velocity includes speed and direction. right? Velocity is just speed in a particular direction. So either of this, if I'm able to change, the velocity will be changed, right? So in the circular motion, object moving with a constant speed, the direction is changed. So velocity will be changed. All right. Okay, so moving ahead to the next part. So we talked about velocities, we talked about accelerations. So let us talk about the types of velocities. So types of velocities means I'm not talking about initial and final velocity. That's definitely different velocities at different instants of time. I am talking about the average and instantaneous velocity. Whatever will be the concept for average and instantaneous velocity, same will be the concept for average and instantaneous accelerations. So we will just go through the description of what is average and what is instantaneous velocity. Yes, we will go with actual expression of instantaneous and average velocities. We will go through certain numericals because the basics we have already learned. So average velocity, that is delta s by delta t, right? And instantaneous velocity, it will be ds by dt. Vivek, formula for speed I took as distance by time. Okay. All right. So we learned the difference between average and instantaneous velocity, which was both was change in displacement with respect to time, but instantaneous velocity was involving very small change. So let us suppose we have a simple example here. I hope you all have gone through differentiation. You have gone through differentiation, students? Everyone
Yes,
tell
sir.
me. Okay, basics, just the basics, because I understand this is just the start. Okay, we will go with a simple question. Let us say S is representing the position of an object. T is representing time here for this question. And position of an object changes with respect to time as 3t square, or let's take 3t square minus 6. You have to find the velocity at t is equal to 2 seconds. Quickly, everyone can do this. Okay, 12 meter per second. So let us check this one. What we have to do, we will just differentiate this because we need velocity at this time. So v will be ds by dt. So I'll put here what is s, 3t square minus 6. So differentiating it will give us 6t. Putting the value of t as 2, we will get 12 meter per second. Very simple. Okay. For the same question, Let's say I want to find the acceleration of the object at t equal to 1 second and at t equal to 2 seconds and at t equal to 3 seconds. At all these times, find out the acceleration of the object. 6 meter per second square. At every time, the acceleration will be 6 meter per second square, because once we differentiate, we get v in terms of t. It's not like we will take this value of v and differentiate, because this is a particular value at a particular time. So we'll take v equals to 60 and we will differentiate, we'll get a as 6 meter per second square. So if you observe, whatever value we got for acceleration, that is a constant value, right? It's not changing with respect to time. So here we have another types of acceleration. Acceleration is constant, acceleration is variable, right? I would have got here acceleration in terms of, let's say, 60. If I would have got, then this acceleration will change with respect to time. So that will be a case of non-uniform motion. And when acceleration is constant, like here we got, this is a case of uniformity, right? Moving ahead, because these things you have already done, now we'll move to the equations of motion. So whatever parameters we have learned till now, whatever variables we have gone through in the motion, we will try to connect those variables. And the connection between those variables, that is what we call it as equations of motion. So there are three equations of motion that we are going to prove. So we have a graphical way to prove, and we have the proof by calculus method. So first we will just go through the graphical way of proof. I'll just demonstrate, because this we had in the earlier classes as well. We are not going to complete it, because I expect you all to go through this. So let us say we have velocity time graph. So in this velocity time graph, if let us say a body is starting at speed u, and at time t, the object's velocity is reaching to v. In this case, can anyone tell me, if I take the slope of this graph and if I take the area of this graph, what the slope and area will give us? You all have gone through slope and area, right? Slope will give acceleration and area will give displacement. Okay, let me take you through any kind of graph that we get in physics, because this is very important. Definitely we'll be getting questions based on graphs at some point or the other. So let us go through it quickly. So any graph, if we have, to find out the slope, what we will do, we just require any 2 points on the line. So let us say this point is x1 y1, this is x2 y2. So what will be the slope? Remember the formula, it's going to be the change in y divided by the change in x. So here it will be y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. If I am talking about area, that means I'm talking about area under the curve and with respect to x-axis. Why I'm talking about with respect to? Because the graph can even be this one, let us see. So if I want the area should be between this graph and the horizontal axis, right? So to find the area, let us suppose I take the example. To find area, what we do, we just do area of this trapezium. So to do that, or let us say we have a simple graph. Let's say this is the graph. So if I talk about area, that means I will be talking about area of this triangle. So half into base into height. Now what I want to show here is how to analyze that what graph will give us the any quantity what we require. That means how we will be able to know what quantity we are talking about with respect to graph, right? So let us say this is velocity time graph. I randomly take it velocity time graph. I'll be analyzing for all the graphs. So from this velocity time graph, if I talk about slope, what I will do, change in y by change in x. So change in y will be in terms of meter per second, right? Because y coordinate, if you see, that is velocity, and the change means it will be change in velocity. So unit will be meter per second. Change in x, that will be computed in terms of seconds, right? Change in x is change in time, that will be in seconds. So here you have meter per second by second, that is meter per second square. So now we observe that this unit is the unit of acceleration, and then we can conclude that slope will give us acceleration. See, for these three graphs you can learn, but for other graphs I am talking, for other chapters, whenever we will be getting graphs in physics, it will be good if we can use this simple idea, right? Just understand the situation in terms of units, and you will be able to get to know that what the slope and what the area will give us. Understood, everyone? Let me talk about area as well. Let us say half into base into height. Base is measured in seconds. Height is measured in meter per second. So second into meter per second will be meter. If you compute, the second and second will get cut. And we see that this meter is the unit, it is the SI unit of displacement or distance. So we get the idea that for this velocity time graph, its area will give us displacement or distance. Is this understood to everyone, guys? Then I'll talk about another graph. Okay, it's good to remember this, just a simple trick. Okay, next graph, let's say we have velocity, this displacement time graph, for example. In this graph, just apply the same idea. Let us see what the slope will give. Change in y by change in x. So change in y is in terms of meter, and change in x is in terms of seconds. So it will be meter per second. That means this is the unit of speed or velocity. So we at least get the idea that slope will give us speed or velocity. Now it depends upon the situation given in the question, that what is required, we can find that using the slope. Okay, talking about area, for example, let us see what the area will give. Area of this, that means this is a trapezium, area will be half times height times sum of parallel sides. So sum of parallel sides, this height will be in terms of seconds, sum of parallel sides will be in terms of meters. So if you look here, the area, it will be meter into second, and we don't have any physical quantity which has the unit meter into second. Are there any physical quantity with this unit? Definitely not. So what we conclude, that the area of this displacement time graph will not be useful, right? So it depends upon the cases, it depends upon what parameters, what variations are given, so that we can conclude whether slope or area will be useful or not. Is this clear to everyone why this area won't be helpful anymore in this? Okay, so moving back, okay, talking about the equations of motion, the three equations, v equals u plus at, s is equal to ut plus half at square, and then 2as is equal to v square minus u square. And we have one more, although that is not that important, but still we will remember. It is s equals u plus v by 2 into t. So let us derive them. If you observe the graph, why I have taken velocity time graph to derive equations of motion? Because from velocity time graph I can use its slope and I can use its area, right? We have seen that in displacement time graph the area was not used. Okay, so if we take this slope will give us the change in velocity. So any 2 points we can take. Let's say this point, so it will be 0 u. This point it will be t and v. So slope, we know it gives us acceleration. So acceleration will be change in y. So v minus u minus change in x, that is t minus 0. So we get a equals to v minus u by t. So rearranging this will give at is equal to v minus u, and that gives v equals u plus at. Okay, I calculate the area. So if you observe, this is a trapezium. Either you can apply the formula for area of trapezium, or what I will do, I'll just separate it into a triangle and a rectangle. So you can see the area will be giving us displacement, and that displacement will be the area of trapezium and the area of triangle. So area of not trapezium, you can say area of rectangle now and the area of triangle. So I'll just write this value quickly. U into t plus half into area of triangle will be base, that is t, height, that is v minus u. So second equation, if you observe, it is involving s, u, t and a. It's not involving u or v. So I'll replace this v minus u from here as at, and we get ut plus half t into at. So we get s as ut plus half at square. So I moved with this derivation quite faster, students, because I have to also go through the derivation using calculus. That is what we require more. I hope this is clear to everyone. Anyone has any doubt, they can ask me. I'll explain again. Okay, no doubts. Good, good. Yes, yes, Sampada. The slope, what you want me to repeat? The formula or the slope of this proof? Slope is just the change along y with respect to change along x, है ना? Y के change को निकालो, फिर x के change को निकालो, just divide it, you get the slope. Always remember change in y by change in x. There is one more way to find slope, that is using the angle, using the tan of the angle it makes along x-axis, right? Whenever we'll require that, we'll go through. Okay, I'll quickly put here the value of, I'll again interchange the value of t here and get equation 3, because we can see equation 3 which we want to prove, 2as is equal to v square minus u square, इस equation में time नहीं है. So let us replace this t. So definitely we'll take this first equation. If we find t, it will be v minus u by a. Just rearrange, you get the value for t and put this value of t here. So you get S is equal to U into V minus U by A, right, instead of T, and then plus half A, instead of T square again I'll put this V minus U by A whole square. So here if you simplify, you will get S is equal to UV minus U square by A plus A V minus U whole square divided by 2A, राइट, ये ए स्क्वायर होगा और ये ए और ए स्क्वायर ये कट जाएगा. So again simplifying this we get, I'll multiply 2 to the numerator and 2 to the denominator here. So 2uv minus 2u square plus I'll expand this u square plus v square minus 2uv divided by 2a. है ना, ये 2uv minus 2uv that gets cut off. So s is equal to u square minus 2u square, that is u square. So the left was v square minus u square by 2a. Rearranging gives us 2as is equal to v square minus u square. So again, I repeat, students, I calculated this. I went through this quite faster. But anyone has any doubt, they can surely ask me. I'll go through this quite slowly. Any doubt in third equation of motion derivation? Yes, Krish, you had net issue. I'll just repeat it again. I'll just tell you the way. What we will do, we have this equation, right? We want this equation to prove. And we see that this equation is not involving time. So what I did, I just substituted the value of t here. Since a was v minus u by t, so I rearranged and I got t as v minus u by a. I put here, I replace for the value of t, and this is just a calculation, and we get this equation. Just keep simplifying the expression. Okay, I'll repeat this third one. Most of them, they are asking this third one. We had s is equal to ut plus half at square. Now what we need to do, we need to prove 2as is equal to v square minus u square. So we see that in this equation which we want to prove, there is no time involved. So what we do, we replace t from here. So how we can replace? We know a is equal to v minus u by t. So if I rearrange, I'll get t as v minus u by a. So I'll just put this t here. So putting this, let me put t here. I'll get s is equal to u into, instead of t, what I'll put? V minus u by a plus half a t square again. So I'll put v minus u by a whole square. Okay. Now I'll just simplify. So s is equal to u into, I'll break this bracket. So this v minus u will be multiplied to u. So uv minus u square by a plus half a into v minus u whole square by a square. So this a and this a square, this term is moved. And here to make this denominator same, I multiply 2 to this numerator and denominator here. So we get s as 2uv minus 2u square plus v minus u whole square, I'll just expand. So v square plus u square minus 2uv by denominator we had 2a. So this 2uv gets cut. U square minus 2u square, that is just u square minus u square. V square was already there, so v square. And then this 2a will go to the left, we'll get 2as. I hope now it is clear to everyone. You all can take this down. So I'll again upload this notes to the class. I uploaded last class notes. You all can see from there as well. Okay, so now we will see the proof using calculus. So if you observe the equation, let me write all the equations. U plus at s is equal to ut plus half at square, and then 2as is equal to v square minus u square. So for example, I want to prove this one using calculus. So first let us see what all parameters are there and how we can relate those parameters. So here the parameters are u and v. They are velocities. A is there, that is acceleration, and T is there, that is time. These are the different parameters. So how we can relate them using differential method or calculus method? A is equal to dv by dt, right? We have only two relations. One, A is equal to dv by dt. Then we have v is equal to ds by dt. There is also the third relation that's not very direct, but we are sure we are going to use this one because it involves acceleration as the change in velocity and time. All these words are here. Okay, so what we will do, we will rearrange. So rearranging gives us a into dt is equal to dv. So I will integrate both sides. So I'll check the limits. At 0 time, what is the speed? U. At t, what is the velocity? V. So here you can see acceleration. If it is constant, then it is taken outside. So remember students, one very important condition that when these equations are valid, is it valid at all the times? No. It's only valid when acceleration is constant. If you have variable acceleration, you cannot use either of these equations, right? So always remember, if the acceleration is constant, you can use these equations. Okay, so assuming constant acceleration, this constant will come out. So we'll get a integration dt from 0 to t is equal to integration dv from u to v. So integration dt, that will be t, and the limit will be 0 to t. Integration dv will be v, and the limit from u to v. So putting the limits, first this is substituted, then 0 is substituted, we get a t minus 0 is equal to v minus u. So finally we get at is equal to v minus u, and that gives v as u plus at. Clear to everyone this part's true? You all would have gone through this integration, I assume. If not, let me know. Okay, yes, everyone has gone. Krish, integration of t is not t. It is integration of dt, which is t. Because we know integration x to power n dx is x to power n plus 1 by n plus 1. Integration you all have completed. That means you would have gone through this basic formula. So what will be integration of dx if I ask? That is integration of x to power 0 into dx. So that will be x to power 0 plus 1 by 0 plus 1, and that is x. Same thing for dt. There is nothing here, that means 1 is there. How we'll get 1? Using t to power 0. So you will get t. Okay, good, Prasti. So any doubt if you have while going through integration, let me know. Okay, we'll move to the next proof. So we know that A is equal to dv by dt, and A dt is equal to dv. Or let us take the second one first. This one we already did. V is equal to ds by dt. Now we will take this one to check the relation to get the expression for S, that is for displacement. From here, ds will be v dt. So if you observe the other two equations, that is involving displacement and velocity. S is equal to v square minus u square. Am I audible to everyone? Or is my voice
Sir.
affecting?
Yes, sir, but disturbance.
Okay. Yeah. So what we will do here, instead of v, I'll just substitute u plus at. So why I am substituting this u plus at? Because if I want to prove the second equation of motion, I see that it is containing displacement, initial velocities, t, and acceleration. It's not containing v. So that's why I replace this v with whatever way I can. So I had this way to replace, so I replaced here. So we get ds is equal to u plus at into dt. So if I integrate it, we will see 0 to s integration in 0 to t. So that will give s. So this integration definitely we need to separate. So it will be integration u dt plus integration at dt and 0 to t, 0 to t, like this. So here u is constant, it will come out and we'll get integration dt. Similarly, here a is constant, it will come out and we'll get t dt from 0 to t. So let us integrate, and putting the limits, we get u into integration dt is again t plus a into integration t. Now this is t square by 2, right? So we get the second equation of motion. Clear to everyone this proof? You can take them down. Okay. So quickly we will see what is integration in short, because some of you are having doubt. If we want to understand the meaning of integration, that is just another way of finding area under the curve. Yes, Vivek, I'll tell you how did we get t square by 2. We are going through the basics of integration. In short, so let us suppose you have this graph. I want to find the area. Well, I have the formula to find area, that is half into base into height. But let us suppose this, this is just a curve. Now, how can we find the area? In this case, we will use integration. So how will we use integration? There are certain formulas to integrate, that is computed. So the concept is we find small areas and we add them, right? Basic meaning of integration is adding small things together, right? एक बड़ा सा, let us suppose एक stick है, इसको मैं छोटे छोटे parts में तोड़ा. So this way of breaking down into smaller pieces, that is called differentiation. And then उसी छोटे छोटे पार्ट्स को मैंने असेंबल किया, तो मैंने देखा एक रॉड की तरह बन गया. So assembling this or adding this together, that is called integration, right? This is just the meaning of differentiation and integration. So there are certain formulas to integrate and differentiate. So I'll do one thing. Mathematical modeling of integration and differentiation not required in physics. But although I'll complete those things, so I'll plan accordingly. I'll inform you that next class when it begins, you all can join 15 minutes ahead, or you can wait for 15 minutes after the class, and we will go through integration and differentiation mathematical way. Okay, so today let us just understand how to use them, because our motto is to finish equation of motion today. Okay, so the formulas here for integration, the basic formula I am writing. So integration x to power n dx. अब ये देखना है कि ये जो इंटीग्रेट करेंगे, ये जो वेरिएबल है, ये जो फंक्शन है x टू पावर n, दैट इज इन टर्म्स ऑफ x, है ना, तभी हम इंटीग्रेट कर सकते हैं. ऐसा नहीं कि ये y टू पावर n dx आई एम गोइंग ऑन इंटीग्रेटिंग इट. इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल यूजिंग दिस फॉर्मूला. So this is x to power n plus 1 by n plus 1, right? So you all can observe कि ये है क्या, what is this? So if I say y is equal to x to power n, अगर मैंने कहा कि चलो ये ग्राफ है, अगर ये ग्राफ है तो इसका एरिया क्या होगा? So its area will be computed in terms of integration x to power n मतलब y into dx. Okay, and let us say I want to calculate from a to b, so I'll take its area from a to b. That's the mathematical meaning. This is understood. This is the basic formula. Another basic formula is integration. Let us suppose I have a constant k into x to power n dx. So what I will do, I'll take this k out. Constant, remember, when it is multiplied, we take it out. So k times integration x to power n dx. Now you all can integrate this one very well. Okay, you can integrate this very well. We have one more thing. Let us say I have two functions now. Let's say एक है x to power m, दूसरा है x to power n, और दोनों को इंटीग्रेट करना है. तो दोनों को सेपरेट कर देंगे क्योंकि यहाँ तो एडिशन है. So integration x to power m dx plus integration x to power n dx. Okay. I hope basics are okay, and we will complete that. Remember, next class I will surely go through the basics. So those of you who want to attend, they can attend. Okay, third equation quickly we will do, and then we have to do
How we got by 2?
by 2. Acha. So you can observe this. What is here? Integration t dt. So integration x to power n का क्या होता है? x to power n plus 1 by n plus 1. So t का पावर क्या है? 1. तो इसका क्या होगा? t to power 1 plus 1 by 1 plus 1. t square by 2.
Okay.
Okay. All right, moving to the third equation, 2as is equal to v square minus u square. अभी इस इक्वेशन को ध्यान से देखें तो what all relations are there, what all parameters are there? Acceleration है, displacement है, और velocities हैं. So how we can relate them? Can anyone tell me how we can relate them? Is it possible to relate acceleration, displacement and velocity using differential method? I want, ताकि उस डिफरेंशिएटेड फॉर्म को मैं जोड़ जोड़ के इंटीग्रेट करके एक इक्वेशन बना सकता हूँ. एक्सीलरेशन, डिस्प्लेसमेंट एंड वेलोसिटी. गुड समर्थ. v dv by dx. So let us see how we get. Acceleration is dv by dt, right? We do not want t. So what I will do instead, here I can multiply this by 1, that the meaning is same. Instead of 1 I can write same numerator and same denominator. तो सेम न्यूमरेटर की जगह मैंने रख दिया चलो ds by ds, है ना, इसका ये वैल्यू कट के तो 1 ही हो जाएगा. दैट्स व्हाई आई डिवाइडेड. नाउ I take them together. So we get A is equal to ds by dt into dv by ds. And ds by dt is what? V. So A is equal to V dv by ds. Now we will take this ds here. So A ds is equal to V dv. Okay. Now it is containing accelerations, velocities, displacement. That is what we needed. So let us integrate it. तो इसका जब लोअर लिमिट u होगा तो इसका लोअर लिमिट डिस्प्लेसमेंट का लोअर लिमिट होना चाहिए 0. अपर लिमिट ऑफ वेरिएशन ऑफ वेलोसिटी, so the maximum is final velocity, variation of displacement maximum is displacement. तो ये जो अपर और लोअर लिमिट लेते हैं इसके बारे में भी बता देता हूँ. वी सेलेक्ट देम बेस्ड ऑन इनिशियल एंड फाइनल वैल्यूज. तो इनिशियल क्या है डिस्प्लेसमेंट का 0, फाइनल क्या है डिस्प्लेसमेंट का s. इनिशियल क्या है वेलोसिटी का dv, मतलब it is denoting small change in velocity, so it's ranging from u to v, right? We generally write the final condition at the top, initial condition at the bottom. So now let us integrate. This is constant, it comes out, so we get integration ds. Here this is not constant, right? ये v है और ये भी dv है. That means I'll have to look it to its power and integrate it. ये क्या हो जाएगा v to power 1 plus 1 by 1 plus 1 और ये u to v. So we will get a into s is equal to v square by 2 from u to v. अब क्या करेंगे, पहले v सब्स्टिट्यूट करेंगे फिर u सब्स्टिट्यूट करके सब्ट्रैक्ट करेंगे. दैट इज अ वे टू ब्रेक दिस लिमिट. So we get as is equal to v square by 2 minus u square by 2. हो गया इक्वेशन 2as is equal to v square minus u square. So everyone can take them down. Any doubt in this third equation of motion? Yes, Dhruv, it is chain rule. And Reshma, what doubt you have? In which part you have the doubt? You can let me know specifically that part. Okay, let us see. So whatever we got at this point, integration a ds is equal to integration v dv from u to v and from 0 to s. तो ये एक्सीलरेशन कांस्टेंट है a, तो ये बाहर आ गया, बचा क्या, इंटीग्रेशन ds. अब इंटीग्रेशन ds क्या होगा, s होगा, because it is having s to power 0. So s to power 0 plus 1 by 0 plus 1 and the limit will be 0 to s. v का क्या पावर है 1, तो यहाँ पे क्या होगा v to the power 1 plus 1 by 1 plus 1 and it will go from u to v. So let's simplify this. 0 plus 1, so s और लिमिट रहेगा 0 to s. This is simple. 0 plus 1 is 1 only. Here you will get v to power 2 by 2 and then u. So what is the way to simplify the limits? पहले अपर लिमिट को इसमें पुट करो v के जगह, तो जो भी वेरिएबल्स हैं उसमें पुट करो और फिर लोअर लिमिट को पुट करके सब्ट्रैक्ट करना है. तो पुटिंग अपर लिमिट वी गेट s ओनली. लोअर लिमिट को पुट करेंगे s की जगह तो 0 होगा और उसको सब्ट्रैक्ट करना है. सेम थिंग हियर, पुट द अपर लिमिट इंस्टेड ऑफ v यू गेट v स्क्वायर बाय 2. लोअर लिमिट सब्स्टिट्यूट करेंगे तो वी गेट u स्क्वायर बाय 2 और उसको सब्ट्रैक्ट करना है. So finally we get as is equal to v square minus u square by 2. ये 2 इधर मल्टीप्लाई हो गया, मिला हमें 2as is equal to v square minus u square. Is this clear? Okay, everyone. So we understood now the two different ways to prove the three equations of motion. V equals u plus at, s is equal to ut plus half at square, and then 2as is equal to v square minus u square. And when these equations are valid, when acceleration is constant, जब acceleration constant है तभी ये equation valid होंगे, else we cannot use them, it is invalid. This is a must condition to be remembered. Okay, on a final note, let us even try to prove u plus v by 2 into t, and then let us see why this is not that important. But yes, sometimes somewhere you may see this equation even. So I'll take this equation. So using this equation only, I'll get this one. What I will do, 2as is equal to v square minus u square. So this is a square minus b square. I'll write this in terms of a minus b into a plus b, right? I can do this. Now instead of a, I will put v minus u by t, and right side it was as it is. Now I can cut this v minus u from both the sides, and we get 2s by t is equal to v plus u. तो यहाँ से रीअरेंज करने पे s क्या मिलेगा, 2 मल्टीप्लाइड है, ये डिवाइड हो जाएगा, t मल्टी डिवाइडेड है, इधर मल्टीप्लाई हो जाएगा. So s is equal to u plus v by 2 into t. So in short, this is the relation between s, u, v and t. You can see none of these equations are having the relation between s, u, v and t. So this is also equation of motion. Any equation which is relating the parameters, that is equation of motion, but this is not that required because we can use them interchangeably. So everyone, you can note them. So the next motive will be to do as many
Sir, we
questions.
can do it from integration also.
S, U, V and T. How you can do using integration? See, you have to relate displacement, you have to relate velocities, and you have to relate time, right? So let us try to relate. Let us see where we get stuck. V is equal to ds by dt. So ds will be v dt. So if you integrate this, time 0 to t, s 0 to s, you will get s is equal to v. You cannot take this v outside now,
Oh, yes.
right? Because this is not constant. This is not that important equation, because this is just switching over another equation. ये जो third equation मिला ना, इसको बस हमने rearrange करके इसको निकाल दिया. Okay, done everyone. Now we will do the questions based on whatever we learned. So let us do this one. Is it visible to everyone? Check it again. 0, how the acceleration will be 0? It won't be 0. A car is traveling at 20 meter per second, takes a U-turn in 20 seconds without changing its speed. मतलब ये राइट साइड अगर 20 मीटर पर सेकंड से जा रहा था, यू टर्न लिया मतलब वापस बैक डायरेक्शन में आया एंड विथ सेम स्पीड. Now the speed is same, but if you observe, direction is changed. So velocity will be different. What is the initial velocity? If I take the right direction as positive, initial velocity is 20 meter per second. Final velocity is minus 20 meter per second, right? Because finally it's moving in the backward direction, in the left direction. So here if we compute acceleration v minus u by t, it will be minus 20, which is v, minus u, that is 20, divided by t, that is 20. So minus 40 by 20, that is minus 2 meter per second square. Clear to everyone? Okay, another question we will do. Yes, you all can do this one. Everyone will attempt this. This is the last question of the day. If you look at the question, student, it says a particle moving with uniform acceleration. That means they have given that acceleration is constant, means you are free to use the equation of motion. This is velocity v1 and v2 at A and B. Okay, so v1 square plus v2 square by 2. Let us check. Other one keep doing. क्या दिया हुआ है इसमें कि ये जो डिस्प्लेसमेंट है दिस इज एग्जैक्टली द मिड पॉइंट, मतलब कि ये x/2 and this displacement is x/2. These displacements are equal. Yes, Terence, right. Root of v1 square plus v2 square by 2. Let us see this. If you observe at A, the speed is v1, right? The velocity is v1. At C, let us assume the velocity to be v, which is needed to be found. And displacement is given. How we can relate final velocity and initial velocity? Because it is moving from v1 to v. So this is the final velocity for this path. So final velocity square minus initial velocity square is equal to 2a into s, right? We have assumed the acceleration to be a. And same will be the acceleration in the other part, because it's stated in the question that object is moving with constant acceleration. So this is equation 1. Equation 2 क्या होगा? Final velocity यहाँ पर v2 है. So v2 square minus initial velocity square. So v square is equal to 2a and displacement is again x/2. So right hand side, if you observe, they are equal. So we can equate this and this. So we get v square minus v1 square is equal to v2 square minus v square. So we want to find v. So let us take v to one side. We get 2v square is equal to v1 square plus v2 square. So v square will be v1 square plus v2 square by 2, और ये स्क्वायर है इधर जाके रूट बन जाएगा. दिस इज क्लियर टू एवरीवन? Snigdho, always try to find the answer in terms of what is given in the question, right? A और x क्वेश्चन में नहीं था, ये हमने लिया कि let us assume acceleration is constant, let us assume that displacement is x. You can see the question, it says only v1 and v2 is given and you have to find v, right? Okay, so I hope you all understood, and remember next class I'll extend this by 10-15 minutes to go through integration while we start the class, integration and little bit of differentiation revision as well. Okay, I'll inform you in the group and I'll post these notes as well. So see you all in the next class. Any questions anyone has?
So the recordings of these classes will
Recordings.
they be posted?
Yeah. Dev sir will post in the YouTube channel. He will share you very soon. He will share you all the recordings. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right. Bye bye, everyone.